नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3, Text 18. Ya Atmanaha Drishya Guneshu San Iti. Ya Atmano Drishya Guneshu San Iti. Vyavasyate Sva Vyatirekataha Abudaha Vyavasyate Smya Vyavasyate Sva Vyatirekato Buddha. Vina Anuvadam Na Cha Tat Manishitam. Vinanuvadam na chatan manishitam. Samyak yataha tyaktam upadadat puman. Samyak yatas tyaktam upadadat puman. Ya atmano drishya guneshu sanniti. Vyavasyate sva vyatirekato buddha. Vinanuvadam na cha tanmanishitam. Samyak yatastyaktam upadadat puman. Yaha, anyone who Atmanaha, of his own real identity, the soul, Drishya Guneshu, among the visible objects, beginning with the body, sun being situated in that position. Iti, thus, Vyavasyate continues to act. Svaya Swavyatirekataha, as if the body were independent of the soul. Abudaha, a rascal, vina anuvadam, without proper analytical study, na, not, cha, also, tat, the body and other visible objects, manishitam, such considerations having been discussed, samyak, fully, yataha, because he is a fool, tyaktam, as rejected, upadadat, accepts this body as reality, puman, a person. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhajana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. One who considers his visible body, which is a product of the three modes of nature, to be independent of the soul, is unaware of the basis of existence, and therefore he is a rascal. Those who are learned have rejected his conclusion because one cannot understand because one can understand through full discussion that with no basis in soul, the visible body and senses would be insubstantial. Nonetheless, although his conclusion has been rejected, a foolish person considers it a reality. Can you repeat the translation? One who considers his visible body, which is a product of the three modes of nature, to be independent of the soul, is unaware of the basis of existence, and therefore he is a rascal. Those who are learned have rejected his conclusion because one can understand through full discussion that with no basis in soul, the visible body and senses would be insubstantial. Nonetheless, although his conclusion has been rejected, a foolish person considers it a reality. Purport. Without the basic principle of soul, the body cannot be produced. So-called scientists have tried in many ways to produce a living body in their chemical laboratories, but no one has been able to do it. Because unless the spirit soul is present, a body cannot be prepared from material elements. Since scientists are now enamored of theories about the chemical composition of the body, we have challenged many scientists to make even a small egg. The chemicals in eggs can be found very easily. There is a white substance and a yellow substance covered by a shell, and modern scientists should very easily be able to duplicate all this. But even if they were able to prepare such an egg and put it in an incubator, this man made chemical egg would not produce a chicken. The soul must be added because there is no question of a chemical combination for life. Those who think that life can exist without the soul have therefore been described here as Abudaha, foolish rascals. Again, there are those who reject the body, regarding it as insubstantial. They are of the same category of fools. One can neither reject the body nor accept it as substantial. The substance is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and both the body and soul are energies of the Supreme Godhead, as described by the Lord Himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.45. भूमिरपुनलो वायु कम्मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति यं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत्. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these eight comprise my separated material energies. But besides this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind, which consists of all living entities. who are struggling with material and nature and are sustaining the universe. The body, therefore, has a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as the soul does. Since both of them are energies of the Lord, neither of them is false, because they come from the reality. One who does not know this secret of life is described as Abudaha. According to the Vedic injunctions, Aitadatmyam idam sarvam kalva idam Brahma. Everything is the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, both the body and the soul are Brahman, since matter and spirit emanate from Brahman. Not knowing the conclusions of the Vedas, some people accept the material nature as substance and others accept the spirit soul as substance. But actually, Brahman is the substance. Brahman is the cause of all causes. The ingredients and the immediate cause of this manifested material world are Brahman, and we cannot make the ingredients of this world independent of Brahman. Furthermore, since the ingredients and the immediate cause of this material manifestation are Brahman, both of them are truth, Satya. There is no validity to the expression Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The world is not false. Jnanis reject this world and foolish persons accept this world as reality. And in this way, they are both misguided. Although the body is not as important as the soul, we cannot say that it is false. Yet the body is temporary, and only foolish, materialistic persons who do not have full knowledge of the soul regard the temporary body as reality and engage in decorating this body. Both of these pitfalls, rejection of the body as false and acceptance of the body as all in all, can be avoided when one is fully situated in Krishna consciousness. If we regard this world as false, we fall into the category of asuras, who say that this world is unreal with no foundation and no God in control. Asatyam apratishtam te jagadahuranishwaram. As described in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this is the conclusion of demons. Thus ends the Bhakti purport and translation to Canto 10, Chapter 3, Text 18 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In this prayer offered by Vasudeva to Lord Krishna, who just appeared in the prison house of Kamsa, we can see such important conclusions being spoken by him. We can know from all these prayers of Vasudeva how he is in complete knowledge of the Supreme Lord Krishna. We can see after the prayers of Vasudeva, after a few more verses, even Mother Devaki will offer prayers to Lord Krishna. Because if you see in the Krishna Leela, Mother Devaki and Vasudeva, they are in the relationship of mother and father of Lord Krishna. And you see in all their interactions, by and large, it is more of a vatsalya, like that of a parent. So many people think that bhakti means sentimental. Devotees are sentimentalists. They don't have knowledge. Their devotion is simply a sentiment. Their acceptance of Krishna is simply sentimental. Acceptance of the process of bhakti is simply sentimental. Their acceptance of the spiritual world and its existence is also sentimental. But actually, that's not true. Here we see how Vasudeva is in complete knowledge of the Supreme Lord, His creation, about the origin of the spiritual world, origin of the material world, origin of life, and what is the real substance of creation. They're in perfect knowledge. They're not in ignorance. Only to relate with the Lord in the Leela, Yoga Maya covers their knowledge of the Supreme Lord, knowledge of His creation, so that it can facilitate their relationship with the Lord in a very nice way. Just like if one knows, if Vasudeva knows that his son is the supreme personality of God, the controller of everything, then he will not have the mood of controlling his child and chastising Krishna. Elsewhere, there are statements in the scriptures that um, even in the case of Nanda Maharaj, who is the foster father of Lord Krishna, there are statements where the father of Krishna is telling, even if Krishna is the supreme Lord, still because he is my son, it is my duty to correct him, to chastise him. So there are such statements. Now, if you know the Lord is the supreme controller, supreme master, supreme knower of things, omniscient, superior to everyone in all respects, bear the cost of correcting, chastising, and is infallible. Infallible means doesn't make any mistakes, does not fall down, does not subject himself to the laws of material nature. If that is the case, then bear the cost of correcting him for any mistake or any fall down. He's Achyuta. He never comes under material influence. He's always in the state of Brahman, the spiritual platform. Eternally in spiritual platform. Does not come under the influence of material energy or the three modes. So that being the case, where the question of we advising Krishna. So therefore, if Vasudeva is in knowledge in this way, then his Vatsalya relationship will be disturbed. Because he cannot correct the child. Similarly, if he knows that the Lord is the supreme protector, supreme creator, then where the question of parenting him? If Krishna is the origin and original father of everyone, how can Vasudeva think that he is the father? And if he does not think he is the father, then where is parenting? Just like you take care of your children because there is a bonding. What is the bonding? You have given birth to that child. Similarly, now if you do not know the fact that you have given birth to a certain child, then there is no Vatsalya relationship between you and your child. Otherwise, there are so many children all around the world. So many children all around the world. You don't consider them as your children. Nor you have such kind of Vatsalya relationship with them. Although, of courtesy, we may say, all children are our children, we should take care of them. But still, only specific children are your own children. And the relationship is different. The feelings and emotions towards them are very different. The care, protection, love, which you can show to your children will be very different from what you show to others. Similarly, if Vasudeva does not think Krishna as his son, then where the question of love, care, protection, just like Vasudeva is thinking how to protect this child. Mother Devaki is thinking how to protect this child, my child. Because comes out, moment he gets to know that God has taken birth from Vasudeva and Devaki, immediately my child will be killed. And there is a fear element. And therefore, there is a uh, thought of protecting Krishna. That is why Vasudeva, in the dead of night, at great risk, he left the prison house of Kamsa and walked towards Gokula. And at that time, as we know, we have heard from Bhagavatam, Yamuna was flooding and there were heavy rains, lightning, thunderstorm, the dead of night. And yet Vasudeva took the risk of crossing the child across the Yamuna and going to the other side of Yamuna to the Gokula town. And also further risk in entering Mother Yashoda's uh, house, Nanda Maharaja's house, and exchanging the baby girl to the boy. Because Yashoda had given birth to Yogamaya that time. So Krishna exchanged, Vasudeva exchanged Krishna, the baby boy, to the Yashoda, to Yogamaya. That was also a risk if somebody sees. So he took a lot of risk to protect this child and again came back to the prison house of Kamsa. So we can see constantly they had been meditating on the protection of the child. Even when Nanda Maharaj came to Vasudeva after all these birth incidents, he came to Vasudeva to meet him. Vasudeva would inquire about the well-being of Nanda Maharaj's child. But Nanda Maharaj could not understand why he was very much particular about inquiring the welfare of my child. Because it was actually Vasudeva's own child. So wherever Krishna was, Vasudeva was very concerned. Mother Devaki was very concerned. Even Nanda Maharaj was concerned about his child, Krishna, and gives an opportunity to serve the Lord in Vatsalya Rasa. So to facilitate this feeling and bonding and relationship, Yogamaya covers the devotee's knowledge. The devotee's knowledge of the supremacy of God. Aishwarya Jnana, about the knowledge of God, about the opulence of God, the power of God. So that the devotee will consider the Lord as actually their child and take care of the Lord as their child. And in this way, please the Lord by Vatsalya relationship. So, uh, Yogamaya puts the devotee in forgetfulness. This is not the same as Mahamaya putting the jiva in forgetfulness. This material world also we have forgotten the Lord, but by the effect of Mahamaya. And in the spiritual world also, the devotees have forgotten the Lord by the effect of Yogamaya. Then what is the difference? There are two kinds of forgetfulness. Spiritual world also devotees forget the position of the Supreme Lord. Material world also we forget the position of the Supreme Lord. Then what is the difference? Both are forgetful ultimately. The difference is the devotees in the spiritual world are forgetful of the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, of the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. That is the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Controller, the Supreme Maintainer. But their service to the Lord is undisturbed. Their relationship with the Lord is undisturbed. Their bonding with the Lord is undisturbed. For the devotees in the spiritual world, Krishna is the whole and soul. They exist only because of Krishna. He is the dearest above all for the devotees in the spiritual world. But in this material world, we are forgetful of the Lord in totality. They're forgetful only of the Aishwarya features, but not forgetful of their loving relationship with the Lord and their seva to the Lord. That is not given up. But in this material world, we totally give up the service of the Lord. and busily engaged in gratifying our senses, sense gratification. Busy in enjoying our senses or enjoying this material world, enjoying in this material world, exploiting material nature. Karanam guna sangosya asad asad yoni janmasu. 13th chapter is described. Karanam guna sanga. We are busy exploiting material nature and even the other jivas. Basically, we are busy exploiting everything in this material world with no business with the Lord. So that kind of forgetfulness in this material world, it's very different. So here we can see uh, at times there are revelations in Bhagavatam how the devotees are in complete knowledge of the Supreme Lord, even in the spiritual world. These prayers, it becomes very evident. So we should not think that forgetful means actually they have forgotten. That kind of forgetfulness is different to facilitate the relationship with the Lord. So therefore, in the there are 5 kinds of relationship which every jiva can have with the Lord, and this is the subject matter of nectar of devotion, bhakti rasamrita sindhu, primary subject matter in nectar of devotion. Every jiva has got an eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. In the spiritual world, it is fully manifest, but in the material world, it is completely covered. So those 5 kinds of relationships are Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Rasa. Rasa means mellow, a sweet experience of the relationship with the Supreme Lord and the Jiva. It also can be referred as taste, spiritual taste, a kind of feeling, very pleasant feeling, pleasant experience. It's called rasa. So Shanta rasa means the devotee is very, very happy when the Lord he can be of some use to his Lord. Just like the uh, river Yamuna, or say uh, a cushion, or the dress of the Lord, or the paraphernalia of the Lord, Shankha Chakra. They are very happy that they're being used by the Lord. Because in spiritual world, there is no matter. There is no dead matter. Everything is a living being. Hmm? Everything in the spiritual world is a living being. They are living entities. There is no matter there. Therefore, everything is conscious in the spiritual world. The cushion in which the Lord sits is conscious. He is actually Jiva serving the Lord as a cushion. The water is conscious that the Lord is drinking me, or the Lord is sporting in me. The Lord is taking his bath in my lake, in my river. That water is conscious. That river is conscious because he is a spirit soul. He is a devotee. The dress is conscious and happy that the Lord is using me. The flute is conscious and happy that I'm of great service to my Lord. Hmm. Being used for his entertainment, for his amusement during his stroll. I am being used. So the flute is very happy, not just some bamboo stick. So there is Shanta Rasa. The land is also conscious in Vrindavan, in the spiritual world. Is a conscious being that I am able to provide a support for my Lord to walk. So the land is also rendering service. That's Shanta Rasa. Dasya Rasa is when somebody acts as a servant of the Lord, there is an active relationship. Here there is a passive relationship where the devotee is not actively involved in interacting with the Lord, but they are happy. Okay, Lord is happy with me. I am being used by the Lord. I am of some use to my Lord. Dasya rasa is when there is an interaction. Hmm. Just like a servant and the master relationship. When the servant is rendering different varieties of services to the satisfaction of the master, and the master expresses satisfaction. Thank you so much. Well done. Very good. You've done a good job. The servant is very happy. Oh, thank you. You have arranged all my needs. Now I am comfortable. I can do a lot of other things. So the master expresses satisfaction. The servant is very happy. So it is always in the mood of subordination, because the servant is always subordinate to the Lord, to the master. He never wants to be equal with the master or supersede the master. That is the mood of a servant. So that's called Dasya Rasa. Just like Hanuman, he can never think of equaling Lord Rama or superseding Lord Rama. Lord Rama is his eternal master. He is always awaiting Rama's orders. Always. Like that, even in Krishna Loka, there are devotees in the Dasya Rasa, always awaiting the Lord's orders to be executed. And they're very happy fulfilling such orders of the Lord. But from Sakya Rasa onwards, the relationship is little different. That sense of supremacy in Shanta and Dasya is very predominant. But in Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya and Madhurya, that sense of supremacy is not dominant. Is not a dominant feature. It is dormant. It is not dominant. In the background, they know, but it is not a prominent feature in Sakya Rasa. Arjuna, for example, he does not consider the Lord as his master. He does not consider. He thinks Krishna is my friend. So he deals with the Lord on an equal footing. A friend and friend, there is no supremacy. Who is above the other? There is no supremacy. Both are equal. Friend means equal platform. Both are equal. So there can be debates, disagreements, and there is no question of awe and reverence. Just like to a friend, you don't fold your hands like this to your friend, right? Only to a superior, you will fold hands, you will bow down. That's why you don't see Arjuna anywhere bowing down to Krishna or folding his hands in Sakya relationship. Only when he saw Vishwarupa, immediately he bowed down. He got scared of this Vishwarupa. Oh, my friend can display this. I thought he was my friend so long. Oh my God, he is able to display the whole universe. Everything is under him. That's why again Krishna brought Yogamaya and again covered his knowledge that he is the supreme. Again said, Arjuna, be relieved. Don't worry, I am your. Of course, when Krishna showed Vishwarupa and then wound up the Vishwarupa, Krishna was acting as the master of Arjuna, because Arjuna wanted Krishna to direct him in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Again, it was a different rasa which Arjuna changed to. But originally, Arjuna's rasa or relationship with Krishna was that of friendship. Wherein in friendship, there's no bowing down, there's no taking advice and executing that order, no such things. That's why Arjuna says, even in the 11th chapter, Krishna, I dined with you, I joked with you, I slept with you, I argued with you. Please forgive me. That is when he came out of the Vatsalya, out of the Sakya Rasa and came to Dasya Rasa. But again, Arjuna, because his constitution is Sakya Rasa, he comes back to that Rasa again. So the point is, you can see in Sakya Rasa, there is no, the devotee does not consider the Lord as his master, somebody superior to him. In that way, even Krishna also does not like, because how can friendship work if somebody is superior and dictating, directing, correcting, guiding? There's no friendship there. Friendship mood is different. You have fun time, you share, you exchange your feelings, your realizations, you enjoy in an equal platform, equal footing, your likes, they're all matching. Then Vatsalya is more interesting as opposite to that of Shanta and Dasya, wherein there is complete prominence of supremacy of the Lord in Shanta and Dasya, but in Vatsalya and Madhurya, there's complete dominance of the devotee upon the Lord. When the devotee thinks he is supreme and superior to God, Krishna. God means actually Krishna. For them, Krishna is not God. Krishna is their child. In Vatsalya and Madhurya, Krishna is their beloved. There's no supremacy there. Rather, they think they have to give protection, they have to care for, they have to maintain Krishna, while Krishna being the maintainer. So, uh, so to facilitate this rasa, yogamaya, to enhance the rasa and the experience of the Lord and his devotees, facilitates varieties of atmosphere and situations, creates different situations in the spiritual world to facilitate the rasa, the relationship of the Lord with his devotees. For the Lord's Leela. Leela means pastime. So called Vihara. For the Lord, everything is entertainment. For the Lord's entertainment and the devotees' entertainment. But nonetheless, all these devotees are in complete knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Everywhere their prayers, whichever rasa they are in, we can see only in selected portions of the Vedic literatures, these devotees reveal that they're in complete knowledge of the supremacy of the Lord. This is one such portion of Vasudeva, who is actually in Vatsalya rasa with the Lord. So here he's saying, and such wonderful truths he's revealing. One who considers his visible body, which is a product of the three modes of nature, to be independent of the soul, is unaware of the basis of existence. So that means Vasudeva clearly knows about the cause of this, cause of life. The immediate cause of life is the soul, not the body. The immediate cause of life. But the ultimate cause of life is the Supreme Lord, not even the soul. Because the soul is also coming from the Supreme Lord. And the ingredients of the body are also coming from the Supreme Lord. Technically referred as Brahman. So Brahman is the cause of both the body and the soul. That Brahman is referring to the Supreme Brahman, Krishna. So Brahman is the real substance. That's being explained in the purport by Prabhupada. Brahman is the real substance. For Brahman only this material world is manifest, and that Supreme Brahman is also, it's only injecting the spirit soul, sending the spirit souls to this material world and injecting the seeds of existence into the womb of mother material nature. That is explained in the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Also, what is explained here in the 3rd verse. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. The total material substance called Brahman is a source of birth. And it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. See? The next verse, Krishna says, that famous verse, Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahad yonir aham bija pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. So there is this seed of existence. That seed of existence is also supplied by Krishna, and that seed of existence is injected in material nature. And then material nature prepares the body. And then we see somebody taking birth. Could be in any species, human species, aquatic species, bird species. But we think that the mother is giving birth. But actually, it is not true. It is not true. It is the Lord's arrangement. The mother's womb is only a medium, it's only a chamber. It's only a chamber. Just like this, scientists today, they say that we are able to produce life through test tube. And today it has become very common, called test tube babies. And therefore they declare that now we have given rise to life. Actually, they're not given rise to life, because the elements for producing life you have taken from the mother and father who are already living and existing. You have taken from the jiva. The sperm and ovum you have taken from the mother, the husband and the wife. So mother's womb is there, which is a place for culturing the growth of the body, a favorable medium for the growth of the body. That same medium you have duplicated in the form of a test tube. That's all. You have created an external favorable medium for the growth of the body of the person. There's an external medium you created. There's an internal medium already existing by the arrangement of material nature under the direction of the Supreme Lord. So there are millions of living beings taking birth in different mother's womb in different species. And you're replicating the same, you're duplicating the same thing rather. Only the chamber you have created. But the question here is, where have you created life? Where have you created life? You don't take the sperm and ovum from a living person. You create the sperm, you create the ovum. And by the by, even sperm and ovum is also matter only, it is not life. Where the sperm and ovum, in that mixture, the soul has to come and take shelter. Then only that sperm and ovum will further start combining, mixing, and even developing. Otherwise, even that mixing will not happen. And development will not happen. The spirit soul enters only, all the process will begin. Otherwise, it will not. The spiritual has to take shelter. Therefore, Lord Kapila said in the Bhagavatam, Striya pravishta udaram pumso reta kanashtrayaha. He says that pumsa reta kanashtrayaha. Pumsa, the living being, reta, in the embryo of the in the womb of the mother, or in the embryo within the womb, ashtrayaha, he has to take shelter. Then only the body will develop, otherwise not. Therefore, they don't know that the cause of this body development is actually the soul. But the soul is also coming from the Supreme Lord. Both are energies of the Supreme Lord. Matter and spirit. Both are energies of the Supreme Lord. That is discussed in the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter. I think Prabhupada has quoted that here. Text 4 and 5. So there is a separated material energy, is earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. And there is a superior spiritual energy called the spirit soul. Both are energies of the Supreme Lord, referred as Brahman. So, those who think that this body is independent of the soul, actually they are in ignorance. They do not know the basis of existence. Therefore, is regarded as Abudaha. And those who are learned have rejected this conclusion, because one can understand through full discussion that with no basis in soul, the visible body and senses would be insubstantial. So that means without the soul, the body has no existence. That's what it means. Nonetheless, Vasudeva is continuing. Although his conclusion has been rejected, a foolish person considers it a reality. He takes this body as a reality, body as the all in all, body as being completely independent of everything, and he tries to enjoy this body. So that is also wrong. So there are two concepts, bhoga and tyaga. Hmm. The jnanis are in the tyaga platform and the karmis are in the bhoga platform. Both are in illusion. There's another point which is brought out from this translation by Prabhupada. The jnanis, they reject this world as false, which is also incorrect. And the karmis, they think this world is simply meant for my enjoyment alone. They're also incorrect. This world is not meant for your enjoyment, nor this world is false. This world is true, and this world is not for your enjoyment. Hmm? This world is created by the Supreme Lord through his material energy to give opportunity for the conditioned soul to reform his mentality of enjoyment and develop the attitude of service to the Supreme Lord for his pleasure, for the enjoyment of the Supreme Lord, not for your enjoyment. So this world is created for the enjoyment of the Lord, not your enjoyment. So to reform our mentality, this world is created. So therefore, it can't be false. The real existence. The falsity is the thought, the idea that this is meant for my enjoyment. That is the falsity. Not that the world itself is false. Hmm. Similarly, to think that everything is for my enjoyment, like the bogey, that is also not correct. So Prabhupada says both of these pitfalls, rejection of the body as false and acceptance of the body as all in all, can be avoided when one is fully situated in Krishna consciousness. Interestingly, Prabhupada concludes the purport by saying, if we regard this world as false, we come under the category of Asura. Because the Asuras declare, that's then the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahur anishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kama haitukam. This is what the Asuras say. So, yeah. The 16th chapter, text number 8. They say, referring to the Asuras or the demonic persons, that this world is unreal, that there is no foundation, there is no God in control. It is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. This is the Asuric conclusion. So if you think that this world is false, actually you fall in the category of being an Asura. Wants to declare there is no God in control. God didn't create this world. Everything's automatic. The chemical evolution theory, all kinds of theories are there, Big Bang theory, all these things will come into play. But they don't have an answer how the Big Bang came into picture. Why was there a bang in the first place at all? Who banged? You're saying bang, then who banged? Just like this is called bang. Who banged? They don't think, isn't it? So, and chemicals do not evolve. And that then you will fall in another trap. That's explained in second chapter, text 26, called Lokayatikas and Vaibhashikas. That's explained thousands of years back. Only these atheistic theories are already being propagated. See, Prabhupada says in the purport in second chapter, text 26. There is always a class of philosophers, almost akin to the Buddhists, who do not believe in the separate existence of the soul beyond the body. When Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, it appears that such philosophers existed. They were known as Lokayatikas and Vaibhashikas. These philosophers maintained that life symptoms or soul takes place at a certain mature condition of material combination. The modern material scientists and materialist philosophers also think similarly. According to them, the body is a combination of physical elements, and at a certain stage, the life symptoms develop by interaction of the physical and chemical elements. You see? So they think at a certain mature stage of physical elements combination or chemical elements combination, life symptoms will arise. This is also the basis of anthropology in the modern world. Prabhupada says the science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. These are atheistic philosophy, and there is no proof for all these things. There is no proof. Only life brings about life. Matter does not bring about life. Is what we can derive from this verse of Vasudeva. Mm. And the original life is Brahman, the real substance. Brahman. Mm. Just like the spirit soul enters this body and then the body develops. Similarly, the universal soul called Hiranyagarbha, called universal soul, he is also called super soul, Vishwatma. He is also called Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. When that soul enters, this material universe also develops, manifests. Otherwise, when Mahavishnu breathes out, these universes come out only in a seed form. Then it expands by the entry of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu into that atomic seed, which eventually becomes the universe. Just like this body also, it's in a seed form. And when the soul enters, it develops this massive body. Similarly, the massive universe, gigantic universe, is developed by the entry of the Hiranyagarbha or Garbhodakashayi Vishnu or the universal super soul. Then the body develops. Therefore, the original cause is the super soul, Vishnu, not matter, not chemical. So that's the conclusion. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय.